Hello, world. Hello, world. We're back in this thing once again, talking boxing. Myself, and of course, we have Boz here. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, it's not so bad. No, not so bad.
Is it nice and cool over there?
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, it really
Hey,
doesn't really remind you of summer, now, right now.
okay. Can't
Yeah,
complain about that. We all need a little bit of cool. It's been treacherously hot around
yeah,
these parts here in DC, but we finally gotten some cool weather by virtue of rain. So I guess there's
nice.
a give and a
Hmm,
take. So that also means you can't really do a ton outside. But yeah,
right.
it is what it is. So
Yeah.
we're in the mix here. We're in the mix here. Shout out to Rodolfo Rivera
Oh,
Jr. in the
hello.
mix right now.
Hola.
Appreciate you
Hello.
dropping by, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we're
were very early this time. Well done.
yeah, maybe this time work is more ideal to get more faces and get more people to jump in the mix here. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
giving it a shot. We're on the road to that 1K subs 86. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Trying working it. Hey,
Yeah.
appreciate it. Just
Always
sticking with
there.
it.
You know, they're always like I see the how you call it, many people now lately have been joining and sending
Okay,
their yeah however you call it
okay, cool,
requests.
cool.
Yeah. Mm,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That is good stuff. So yeah, we're gonna keep this thing going. So yeah, we appreciate
yeah,
you dropping in, Rodolfo. Others who are on or maybe tuning in some capacity. This is the podcast, of course. 86 Boxing here, Josh Boz, Boxing Haven. Be sure to check out Boxing Haven on Facebook. We have a lot of discussions on there about the latest and greatest on what's going on in the boxing world. And speaking of
got a
that, of course, we
new
had a
shirt.
major fight. Oh, Marine Department, Ocean Cruises.
Yeah,
Cool.
Blue
Me, I'm
Armor.
representing with the 86 Boxing hoodie here. Got to get some more of these,
Nice.
get these shipped out.
Yeah, that's the one. Really nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, got to get some more of these. Get these out there in the mix, out there in the atmosphere.
Yeah,
Promo, I guess
that's a
you could
good
say.
good color. Yeah. Well, maybe yeah, mine would be like for boxing and it would have to be purple. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Purple. Yes, purple. That's a good one. That's a good one for sure. That's a good
Yeah.
color, standout color.
Yeah. And I
So
one of my favorite bands was always Deep Purple, so that makes
okay,
sense too.
okay, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah. Like a bit of purple. It's
Yeah.
the color definitely has some significance down south. Listening to some music for those in Texas, there is some ties to purple.
Yeah.
Everything's purple.
Purple Rain also. Purple Rain.
Oh yeah, purple rain. Well, I guess that's for yeah, yeah, yeah. All that's for another day. Oh yeah, Vaz would have to be purple indeed, Rodolfo, indeed. So yeah, yeah.
Purple
Happy to
Man.
be here. Happy to be here back in the mix and discussion. Of course, the big fight last night was King Ryan Garcia making his return to the ring after, well, he had a hiatus a year ago, but he made another
Oh
return
yeah.
earlier in the year against Emmanuel Tago, a fighter out of Africa, who
Yeah.
was a solid
Ghana.
fighter and really made Garcia work to get off any form of
Mm,
offense at that particular time. But now he was back in the mix here again, taking on Javier Fortuna, a guy who can be a spoiler
back to the
depending on the
saddle.
situation. And he has been in the past, very solid fighter, has
Yeah.
a pretty solid skill set overall.
Mm,
Sometimes, you can you never know which way he's gonna go. But a talented fighter, and he was taking on Ryan Garcia at 140 pounds. So that was going to be a question, of course, with Fortuna doing most of his
yeah.
best work down in
Mm,
130 pounds. So the fight did
yeah.
happen, and it ended up being a 6 round stoppage or KO actually for Ryan Garcia. And it really is just a matter of Garcia with his size and precision throwing his shot just systematically broke down Fortuna, who had a lot of trouble actually getting inside on Garcia's length. And I thought Garcia had a pretty pretty solid performance. He did what he needed to do as far as making a statement and showing that, hey, he is
Yeah,
beyond whatever the thought may be as far as him mentally not being there and ready to compete. I think he looks as good as he's looked. So, what are
yeah,
your thoughts on what went down there, Boz?
yeah. It was, pretty very dominant, pretty one-sided fight. I mean, well, Fortuna did kind of make an effort in the early rounds, but later on he just kind of, seemed to not have anything to come up with anyway. And that last, it wasn't really a knockout because he was knocked down and then he quit. He spit out his mouthpiece, so that was a sign. I don't want
Yeah.
to do this anymore. I had enough. So yeah, but that was very, I mean, quite impressive because this was the first time that Garcia has fought somebody who actually has been a world champion, not one but two actually divisions, featherweight and super featherweight, and
Oh yeah.
who also has a punch but also can box. Also some. He's pretty, all round fighter. Fortuna, I believe. Yeah, he's pretty. Yeah, not just a puncher anyway. Not a crude guy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
it
Cool.
was.
I agree.
Yeah, impressive. Yeah. What else? I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
Cool, cool. And Rodolfo revealed LOL purple in Texas has a lot of significance. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And
uh,
my favorite Ninja Turtle was Donatello, who wears purple band.
all right, cool, cool. Oh, Donatello. I think I like Raphael. He was the red, right? Red.
Oh
He looked.
yeah, he was like the badass of the group. Yeah,
So let's throw things in the mix. The old Raphael was a beast out there. But yeah, Donatello. Yeah, he was legit. That is
yeah,
funny.
the smart guy. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes, he was. The tech whiz, all that good stuff. Son and Boz, I'm watching Facebook user. Okay, that's my mom. Hey, appreciate you
Hello.
tuning in. We love to have you in there, have you in here
Mm,
checking us out. Appreciate you tuning in. Good times and stuff. So gonna keep this thing going. Rodolfo Rivera Jr. Ryan did way better because this time his opponent was actually fighting toe to toe. Yeah, yeah, spot on there, Rodolfo. Yeah, I think that definitely played into the mix.
yeah,
Ryan Garcia, he can definitely thrive when you have someone who's coming at him and essentially brings out more of his aggression. I remember for the
yeah,
longest, maybe I was in this sort of mix as well. Many didn't think that Ryan Garcia had that type of grit, that type of fight in him, and many thought that he just was more so a name, and a lot of that probably tied to his social media following and his ability to generate such a
mm,
fanfare there outside of the boxing ring, and some of it would lead to questioning whether, okay, is this guy legit? But realistically, he was a pretty solid amateur. He fought a lot of guys as amateurs as well who are in the mix and fighting now. And here as a pro, as far as I'm concerned, he's shown that he is a legitimate fighter who can give it to anyone on any given day. And I think it's going to be
yeah,
pretty. You're going to have to definitely come with your A game if you're going to take out Ryan Garcia, who is motivated and ready to get in there and mix it up. And that's the version of Ryan Garcia I feel we
yeah,
saw last night because he looked intent on taking out Jaiver Fortuna by any means, and I don't think he was going to be denied in any facet there yesterday because he just seemed to be 100% on his game. And I like this version of Ryan. He was confident and he's great on the mic as well. So he brings excitement to the sport. So it's beyond just social media and all that. I think he can actually fight. And I think he gives any of the top 135 pounders as well as those guys at 140 pounds will run for their money because even at 140, Ryan, he looks like he's probably in even better shape and he doesn't have to let off those extra 5 pounds. So I think
Yeah,
140, he can definitely be a real deal player there. It's just a matter of whether some of those fights can get made that continues to elevate that
yeah,
name in that capacity.
like against Teofimo Lopez, for instance. That's the one I would love to see, and yeah, a few others, of course. At
Yeah,
maybe 10 days, yeah, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Rodolfo Rivera Jr., but yeah, Ryan looked pretty good, not taking anything off of his performance. Indeed, he did look pretty solid there. Now, I guess he's made it clear that he's not trying to go back down to 135. So it looks like 140 is going to be where it's at. But as they mentioned
Yeah.
on the broadcast, even I believe, yeah, I think a lot of those guys are heading up to 140 here eventually anyway. Teofimo Lopez is already going to be campaigning there with his next fight, which is coming up fairly soon. I
Hmm.
believe it's in August, actually. Forget who he's taking on, but he's coming in fighting in August. And then you have Devin Haney, who's, I guess you can
Oh yeah.
consider undisputed there at 135. He certainly is going to eventually go up to 140. And you can tell that he just kind of has a frame that he is eventually going to end up there. And ultimately, I think all of these guys are going to end up at 147 at some point down the road as well when it's all said and done. So, yeah, you have him. And then Tank has already fought at 140.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine, and when we know that he sometimes has to shake off a good deal of weight, so 140 isn't out of the question for him. I just think, yeah, all roads are going to lead there as well. And being at 140, I mean, I think between 130 and of course 147, I think there's a great crop of fighters where you can have any combinations of fights eventually, and they're going to be these top caliber, top of the sport type fights, and hopefully we get more and more of them as these guys continue on.
It's the best, most of the best fighters right now are in that how do you say it? Those divisions that you just mentioned. Yeah, definitely. Especially between 135 and 147. Yeah,
So
you got
yeah,
a few at 154 and 160, but yeah, that's about it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
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 I see also that Regis Prograis is still also in the at 140. So
yes,
that's another fight that can be made for Garcia also. It
yeah.
would
That'll be
make
a good one.
sense. Mm, yeah.
Yeah, I've caught Regis in his last two fights, and Regis, yeah, he still looks to be on his game. He still looks to be a problem for anyone at that weight. And shout out to
Yeah.
Random Acoustic Thoughts. Says, big up, fellas. I'm on the beach. I'll catch a rewatch. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for even dropping in. Random Acoustic Thoughts. Good work
Lucky
yesterday
you.
on looking at those top 10 light heavyweights of all time. A hard to narrow list down, but certainly good work with that type of stuff right there, without a doubt. And Rodolfo saying
Mm,
having a good one random. Yeah, we'll catch it for sure. But yeah, you're correct in that sense, Boz. Yeah, it's definitely, I think that Regis Prograis versus Garcia is makeable. I think Prograis, he's the type that I feel he wouldn't turn down any fight. And he looked good even in his loss to Josh Taylor. That turned out to be a pretty solid fight. And
yeah.
I think the right man won with Taylor, but it was a very close fight. And I think Prograis showed that, yeah, he is on that elite level as well. And since then, it's just
Mm,
been a matter of getting, one of those elite level opponents to get in the ring with them. And maybe
yeah.
we can get that with Ryan Garcia, assuming that the potential Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis fight isn't actually going to happen. Now, Tank did tweet after the fight, see you all at the end of the year, hashtag the one. So, what that alluded to could be a number of things. Maybe he has a fight lined up already, or there have been talks and discussions. Or maybe he's saying, yeah, see you all at the end of the year because, hey, I accept your call out, Ryan Garcia, and we're going to make it happen. But that being said, that is certainly one of the more popular fights in the sport, and I think it would deliver a lot of excitement and action. If that does happen, what are your thoughts on 140-pound Ryan Garcia versus 140-pound Tank Davis. These are two different styles of fighters, and
Yeah,
of course, the size and just length is
yeah,
different as well, which makes it very exciting and potential at
yeah.
least.
Big height disparity. That is always, interesting, and that would be, of course, a really explosive fight, and really something to see. It would bring a lot of views. No doubt about it. And well, I don't know really who I would favor in that fight. Well, usually it's the smaller, faster guy, that has a
Mm,
sometimes has the edge, on the taller, maybe a little slower. I don't know, guy who would be Garcia in this case, of course. But Garcia he hits so hard and is pretty. I mean, the way he sets up those punches, and especially to the body,
yeah.
it's really dangerous for anybody. So
Yeah, he's
it
very
would,
good with that left hook to the body that seems to
yeah,
come out of nowhere at any given time, you know?
yeah, that's the one, and that's as I said, a really big danger element for any fighter who fights him, and yeah, I can see it being a very close fight, definitely. But Tank is not really a very natural 140 pounder, so it would be a
Yeah,
little bit, well, physically, it's a little bit of a mismatch, I would say, because Garcia is,
yeah,
at the size he is, he 5'10" and all that, just still growing, you might say, still expanding
yeah.
physically. He
Yeah,
might end up I don't know, at least at welterweight, if not super
for
welterweight
sure.
even.
For
Yeah,
sure. I for sure see him there eventually. I mean, he has the size and frame to carry it.
yeah,
Even we could see him at 154 sometime
yeah,
later in his career as well. But I agree with you. It's hard to gauge exactly what weight is the most ideal weight for Tank Davis because he
yeah.
fought at seemingly all around the weight from there, from even from 130 up to 140. I couldn't remember if that Barrios fight were they over 140. I'll have to look back, but he's fought, of course, just kind of up and down, bounced back and forth between the different ones. So I don't know if he's what is sort of the most ideal and natural for him. But you're right that, of course, that size difference and disparity would be there for, in theory, at least for Ryan
Yeah,
Garcia. Tank has had a penchant for putting on some weight after fights, but of course, that doesn't necessarily constitute natural size, but I think it'll be certainly more natural for the likes of for the
mm,
likes of uh, Garcia at 140 and 147, as opposed to Tank, who is of course shorter. He's
yeah,
stockier, but he's probably more ideally suited at 130, 135. But
yeah,
hey, he has the power, of course, to be
yeah.
relevant at
He
any of
has.
those weights. And that's
He
probably the
can.
big outlier there and why there's so much intrigue.
I mean, he can, in theory, he can knock out Ryan Garcia, as I said, but also it's vice versa as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's one thing that some people might not be giving Ryan credit for. They assume that Tank is the only one with the knockout power, but I think Ryan has pretty solid power, especially
oh
the
yeah,
trajectory of his punches. I think that would be a real threat for Tank for sure.
yeah. He's a real specimen, you might say. That's also adds to his punching power because he's obviously very athletic, and all that. Pretty much. And still, as I said, pretty strong guy in general,
Yeah,
for that division also, So yeah,
yeah, yeah, definitely. Shout out to Hat Trick. Appreciate you dropping in. Says, what's up, amigos? It's Hat Trick, aka Hijeka.
Not
It's me,
much.
Sierra, and how's it going?
Kian.
How's it going, buddy?
Well,
You
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 got
were
yet
Hijeka not too long ago.
yet another pseudonym. You got.
Well, I like this hat trick. You know what I'm saying?
You
I'm a
like to
soccer
change.
fan, so I don't mind a hat trick here and there, especially if it's the team I'm
Patrick.
rooting for.
Nice, nice. All right, he's
Okay,
working.
interesting enough, he says he's working on soccer, football, soccer vids. Cool, cool. Hey, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to check those out.
we call it football in Europe, but you call it soccer, so that's how it goes.
Yeah, football. But
Yeah.
yeah, hey, good stuff, hat trick. Hey, DC United fan right here, so I'm always checking those guys out. Watching them last night, they're not doing too well. They're last in the conference this year, but hopefully but they're not far back as far as the bottom tier of the conference. So if they go on a little streak here, they could easily find themselves at the top of the bad teams. So hopefully they can at least do that and then be realistic for a playoff berth. But we'll see how that goes for sure.
And one more exciting fighter that could be matched against Garcia is Jose Zepeda. He's still at 140. Also, actually, BoxRec
Oh
ranks
yeah.
him just above Ryan. So that would be one hell of a fight to a real true war.
Yes. Yes. I love Zepeda's style. He can punch, he can box, he's got all that. He's got it all in the mix, and that is a
Yeah,
legitimate fight there. I think Zepeda wants and probably deserves a shot at Josh Taylor if Josh Taylor is going to fight at 140, which he may very well. But I think that I heard him last night say that Josh Taylor was going to be fighting, or at least probably rematching Jack
Taylor.
Catterall.
Yeah,
And of course, if that happens, then that takes Zepeda out of the mix there for getting Taylor, because indications are that he's already struggling to make 140 pounds. So he probably won't be there next year. So yeah, you're right, Jose Zepeda. That would be a good one, and I think that would be an interesting style mix-up between the two as far as Garcia and Zepeda. And I think both of them can punch, and that would be an exciting fight actually. So that is one that is legit. Thing about it is, and I know that they can get things done, but I guess a lot of these guys, or a lot of the top 140 pounders, are with Top Rank. And Zepeda, of course, is Top Rank. Josh Taylor's Top Rank. Jose Ramirez is Top Rank as well. I think that would be a good one too.
Right.
I think pretty much a lot of those guys at the top of 140 would make for exciting fights against Garcia. So I believe, Top Rank and Golden Boy, they've always done business. Well, I won't say always, but they have done business in the past, and seemingly, they can get some things done. Whether it's a priority, of course, that would be another thing,
Yeah, exactly.
Because, of course, Top Rank holds the cards now, since they have a lot of those guys. They can make excellent fights between Top Rank fighters as well,
Definitely, yeah.
It's annoying when it goes down like that, but sometimes that kind of happens, because now we're talking crossing networks, of course, because that would be DAZN, ESPN, and they had to work out where the fights would be and all that stuff. So maybe it's Regis, and I think they pointed out Regis Prograis being one of the more likely ones, because of the fact that Prograis is apparently a free agent at this particular point, so he can pretty much do a deal with DAZN, Golden Boy, Matchroom, or whomever, to make that happen.
Prograis, yeah.
So yeah, interesting stuff. Rodolfo Rivera Jr., after seeing this fight, the Tank Davis versus Garcia fight looks even more exciting, but I got a feeling Mayweather is going to force the fight at 135, or even pull a catch weight at 138. Every pound counts. Yeah, that could certainly be a case. You never know with that. I wonder, I hadn't looked into it. I know Tank was supposed to be a free agent, but I guess, some comments and things, the way things were alluded to, that doesn't necessarily mean he was leaving Mayweather Promotions. So I guess he's still going to be rocking with them. And I saw Winner Edel be tweeting some stuff. So I guess they're
too late.
still a team. They may be
well,
still a team, I guess.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a catch rate because they haven't had a few. Like now, we haven't had any catch rate fights for a while. I mean, big ones.
Yeah,
So there's been,
yeah.
yeah,
That has always been a thing, of course, but yeah, yeah, you're
yeah,
right. That's a good point there. Uh, Rodolfo, yeah, maybe that would be something. That'll be interesting. I think that's the sort of long pole in the tent, the whole negotiation piece, because both of these guys are going to view themselves as a top dog, and I guess both of them will have a legitimate claim, So it's just going to
yeah,
be a matter of who's willing to give a little bit more, or can they both meet in the middle? I'm sure those negotiations are going to be pretty interesting for sure, because we're talking Golden Boy and PBC at this particular point, assuming that Tank is running with Mayweather Promotions, which like in all likelihood that will be the case. So yeah, those negotiations I'm sure will be very interesting. And I was watching the post-fight interview, at least from a Golden Boy's perspective. They definitely and understandably want the zone in the mix. Of course, PBC has the deals with Showtime and Fox and all that stuff. So it's a matter of where would this end up and how that split be split? How will that split be?
yeah.
So while things seem to be aligning right now, yeah, time will tell. I guess we have to kind of just be in wait and see mode on if these guys and gals can actually come to the negotiation table and make a legitimate deal.
Yeah, it's always about money and politics, but yeah, this would be probably the best fight right now at 140, the most exciting one because both guys are undefeated. They are young. I mean, Davis is like what 26 or something. No,
Yeah,
24.
yeah, yeah. 26
I,
or maybe
yeah,
27, something there. Garcia 23.
yeah, 23. So you got that. Both are undefeated. Both scored a lot of knockouts. They are explosive, fast, all that, and one is a lot taller than the other. So you got
Yeah,
all
yeah.
those things that make a
Yeah.
very intriguing matchup, very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the performance last night put some more hype around it, and I think it's probably going to be more anticipated now than the first time around. So if boxing can actually make this happen on time, we will have to give the sport a pat on the freaking back, especially
Yeah,
considering we're talking crossing promotional lines. So you will get the biggest pat on the back boxing if you can make this fight happen this year.
yeah. You saw who was in the audience cheering Ryan on. It was Oscar and also Bernard was not far away, I believe,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah,
audience. I know
yeah, yeah.
he works for, I believe, still, or he did work
Yeah.
for Oscar. Yeah. So
Yeah. He's had a long time relationship with Golden Boy. So yeah, they have work. I know Shane Mosley used to be in the mix, but I remember Shane had
yeah,
left back when he was trying to fight, while he was of course past his prime and everything. And I guess he's no longer in the mix there. But yeah, Bernard has been there for a minute, so they have some good
so
things going there.
that's what I find funny. Oscar was like, everybody who's beaten him, all right, now you work for me. Now you've beaten me in the ring. Now you must work for me. So I can
That
get
is
to be
funny.
your boss, at least to boss
Yeah,
you
yeah.
around. That's my revenge. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. The Golden Boy, but yeah, that is
Yeah.
pretty funny that they were all working together, pretty cool or whatever. Hey,
Yeah.
it stood the test of time, so it's pretty cool. But I know there was talk about him potentially selling or something like that. I was seeing floating out there, but I don't know if that's happening or not. But we'll see. But yeah, hey, they're still I guess making things happen there. They have Ryan Garcia there to carry that weight
Mhm.
despite losing Canelo. They have Ryan Garcia, potentially
Yeah. And
Virgil Ortiz if he continues to
yeah.
impress. He's another one
And
who
knowing,
has
that
no
these
quality.
also that Tank is the protege of Floyd Mayweather, and Ryan
Yeah,
Garcia is a protege of Oscar, so that also
yeah,
gives
yeah,
it
yeah.
a real. real big,
Yeah,
like symbolical meaning. Yeah,
yeah, that is true. So yeah, that's why I feel like negotiation wise, neither is going to want to bend much.
the
So it
next
should be interesting.
generation. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that is one of those. Rodolfo Rivera Jr. I barely realized you like soccer, football. My Chivas to the Mexican League aren't doing good either. Don't worry. Good stuff, Rodolfo. Yeah, yeah.
Chivas.
Definitely a soccer fan. Chivas. I remember Chivas USA when they were in the MLS, and then of course that kind of they kind of moved out, and then now the two LA team or they have LAFC out there in Cali along with Galaxy are a pretty big rivalry or
All
whatever. But
right.
there's some other San Jose Quakes and all that stuff.
The team is
I,
owned by that whiskey factory or what? I know that
oh,
Chivas is a Scottish whiskey, so
oh, okay, yeah, didn't know that. Didn't know that.
must be.
Certainly,
Yeah.
it's,
Well,
it's funny.
Rodolfo should know that.
Oh yeah, you probably know that, Rodolfo. Maybe there's no connection there. We'll see though.
It's
Rodolfo
also
Rivera Jr.
one of the most expensive Scotch whiskeys I have heard. Not
Oh yeah,
not
have you
least.
had any?
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
No, not
Have you
me.
tried it?
No, no, not me.
No, I haven't either. I don't know if I've seen that one. I'll have to look that up. Chivas,
I don't remember.
Chivas.
Well, I don't really drink much hard alcohol, really. So I have tried a few, but not so much. Mostly mixed with Coke and that stuff. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So
Mhm.
Rodolfo says, "Oh God, Chivas USA was an experiment that he tried but didn't work." Yeah, I guess not. But Chivas isn't owned by the whiskey company, but it had the same name for some reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
what a
don't get.
coincidence there.
Yeah, I don't get why that company has because it's not doesn't sound like a Scottish name, right? Sounds Spanish.
Yeah,
So I don't get
yeah,
why.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
never
It
heard.
does, does.
I thought it
It
was
does.
an American whiskey, but it's not. It's Scottish. Wow, gold. All
Yeah,
right.
interesting.
So
So
yeah,
Rodolfo Rivera Jr. says Chivas means goat in Spanish, so the mascot is cool. Okay, yeah, that is pretty cool. I like that right there.
yeah.
I didn't know
There you
that.
go.
Hey, putting
I
us
knew
up
it
on
was a
game. I didn't know that.
Spanish. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Goat. So the goats out there. Yeah, I can rock with that myself. I can rock
Billy
with that.
goat or what? Maybe a Billy
Indeed.
goat.
Uh, Coming next week, our full time soccer show. We're gonna be discussing soccer.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun. No. But that's pretty funny though. Hey, we have a little
I don't
something
really,
in the mix.
I don't really,
I
really
was telling you,
follow.
we had a Norwegian player. We have a
Yeah,
Norwegian player here on DC United, Ola
you told
Kamara.
me.
You
You
better become
told
a
me
fan.
more
Hey,
than
there you
once.
go, right there.
That
You can
guy,
become a fan.
Ola,
DC United, we accept you.
Ola Kamara.
Yeah, yeah, we accept you as a DC United fan since we have a little bit of a Norway thing going right now.
Oh yeah, DC United. That sounds
So
like a
funny stuff.
superhero team.
Hey, we're
DC.
trying to get there. We're trying to get there.
Yeah.
We might need a few superheroes if we're expected to do much here this year. We might need to
All
get some
right.
real deal superheroes out there. But
Oh yeah. As long
Rodolfo
as you
Rivera
know.
Jr. Was
As
that?
long as you know that soccer is the real deal, not that American football you got over there. The European football is the real thing. Yeah.
You know, I felt the opposite for the longest time, but I have to give respect where it's due. Soccer is the real deal. Globally, it's
You
the
got it.
real freaking deal.
That's
Hey, they
right.
made a fan of me. They made a fan of me, so I represent.
Yeah.
So I got to show them
It's a
love.
beautiful game. I mean, it's less brutal than American football for sure.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, definitely. You don't
yeah,
have as many head injuries, I'd imagine.
yeah, it's not
Yeah,
like boom, boom. You don't do that.
that's pretty high intensity, high impact right there. So for sure,
Yeah.
it kind of scales it down. But
Mhm.
yeah, back in the boxing mix, Rodolfo Rivera Jr. Ryan brings out the celebrities. Even the crazy kid that streams called I Show Speed was there. You might know him 86, but I'm not sure. No, I don't know this I Show Speed, But I see some of those. I see some of those guys that look like I figured they were YouTube type guys who are out there, or some of these Twitch streamers, gaming streamers, all that. Yeah. So Ryan, yeah, he does have a knack for bringing those individuals out. I know some
I
YouTube
should
people, but not
speed.
too many. The ones I know are typically, yeah, definitely maybe not the Jake Paul and Logan Paul type of
Oh
YouTubers.
yeah.
I think they're doing some other more legitimate things. Not that their stuff isn't legitimate, but have a more
Alright.
legitimate focus on a particular thing or subject or area. But that's funny. But I did see that the zone is promoting this KSI, who is a YouTube guy who Logan
Oh
Paul fought,
yeah.
and maybe Jake Paul.
We
Apparently,
fought
he's doing a
Logan.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's doing a pay per view with another YouTube guy. I can't remember the name, but he had a hoodie on it had the Filipino flag on there. So I guess he's a Filipino streamer of some type, and they're gonna have a pay per view boxing match here on the Zone coming up, I believe, in August.
Wow.
It's interesting. That's where we are these days. They can't knock it. They're
Yeah.
gonna get some people to come in and check it out. You know.
Yeah, you got a lot of that, what it's called. Well, show like I can't remember the right word, but there's a lot of stuff going on, being or like fights between celebrities and stuff,
Yeah,
between non-boxers and yeah.
yeah,
So
we've seen a number of those.
that's good as long as it draws more attention to boxing itself. But I fear
Yeah,
too many of those who will watch that would not really watch a real boxing match. I fear,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
just
yeah,
there because these guys are so famous, So, well, it doesn't hurt
yeah,
anyway. Yeah,
yeah. It is interesting. Yeah, you do see more of them. I know they have some that are mixed up, or at least they mix in some legitimate. I guess those can be considered legitimate, but they mix in some real deal actual boxers and in some actual
Hmm.
boxing matches, those with experience or at least more real experience in boxing. They kind of throw those in the mix. I don't know what they're going to be doing as far as the entire card for this KSI versus this person he's fighting. And it's interesting. It's going to be on the Zone pay per view, so it'll be
KSI,
interesting to
something
see
like
how that does. See if they sell or whatever.
instead
Considering
of
it's pay per view.
CSI, he's KSI. That's like,
Yeah, KSI. I don't know his claim to fame, but I've seen that he has a lot of YouTube following. But maybe he's just one of those guys with a personality people like.
yeah. Isn't he from UK? I believe he's from
Yeah,
UK.
yeah,
Yeah.
he is from the UK. Yeah.
He's got like very, very. I think his real name I've seen it once. It's very African sounding. I
Mm.
don't remember something like
Yeah.
with an O. I think his last name begins with an O, or his first. I don't know.
Oh,
Right,
huh. Yeah, I used to see him in some of these
Nigerian
Mayweather.
maybe. Yeah,
Oh yeah, he might be. But yeah, I used to
yeah,
see him training at the Mayweather gym, and he'd be in some of the Mayweather boxing channel, the Mayweather channel. They have a YouTube channel, and I would see him training, and they would sometimes ask him. They do like fight predictions or something like that, and they'll ask people. At the time, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was a YouTube guy, but I just didn't know who he was, so I just assumed he was
yeah.
some
I
boxer or something of that nature. And then
know.
I found out he was a YouTuber or whatever. Put two and two together there at the tail
Yeah.
end. That's when I realized he was fighting Logan Paul. I was like, oh, okay, but he was legitimately in the gym training, so he wasn't just
Yeah,
messing around in the backyard.
Logan said I saw one episode I think last year of that show he's got Impulsive or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
So Jake was talking about how he thinks he could have knocked him out because he said the moment you landed, he meant Logan on him, you put him down. But Logan said, "Oh yeah, but he's got real like toughness," and he kind of praised him. He does have how they say it, resilience and all that
Yeah.
warrior mentality. But I believe he
Yeah.
has a brother also. Am I right? Because
Oh
I
yeah.
think he fought Jake at the same night when KSI and Logan fought again for the second time. That's what I read.
Oh
Because
okay.
the second fight was a draw, but Jake, I think he
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
knocked out the brother. Yeah,
Oh okay.
stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. He probably
Yeah.
did. That's funny. That's funny. But
Dangerous kid.
hey, hey,
Yeah,
now now they're doing multiple shows. It's crazy how that works or how that turns
yeah,
out. But hey, I guess they're legitimate players out there in some sense now.
yeah,
Jake Paul is headlining that card against Hakeem Rothman Jr. for
yeah.
it's
I
coming
guess
up here
Mike
in.
Tyson gave up the thought
Oh
of
yeah,
fighting
yeah. They were talking
him.
about him and Logan Paul, but yeah.
Oh
Mike was
yeah,
probably
right.
like, "Nah, I'm good."
Nah, nah, he's too old. He knows that he would probably get a beating now. At this stage, even from them, from one of
Yeah,
them.
and Mike had to be motivated to actually want to do it,
Yeah,
which he
maybe
probably
if he could
wasn't at this
pull,
stage.
maybe if he could pull out a big punch and knock him out. That's all I can see
Oh
him
yeah, he
winning
still
that.
looks pretty strong, even at his age. He
Yeah.
still looks like he has some strength to him for sure.
Oh yeah. He is like a bull. Always.
Indeed. So Rodolfo Rivera Jr. Last comment about soccer. I was actually working on a training facility for the second tier American team called the Oakland Roots. So maybe they can get promoted to the MLS. Oh, cool, interesting. Yeah, they've got a lot of teams that have been in the lining or at least coming up and all this stuff. I saw Charlotte FC is the latest, one of the latest, of course. And then I know Austin FC. They came not too long ago, a couple years ago, maybe. Then there were some other ones that were coming, but yeah, the MLS is growing. Minnesota United is not too old. Of course, LAFC, Miami FC, or Inter Miami actually. So we're doing big things there. If you're gonna get into football, Slavin, you need to watch the MLS. That's the
Yeah,
premier
I don't
league out
know.
there right now.
I used to
No, I'm
follow
kidding.
football, but not that much now. I think it's become less exciting now. Than with all these transfers, a player can stay in the same team for more like than 3 years now, or even that
Mm-hmm.
is rare. So it's
Yeah,
only
LAFC.
the best players in a team that stay for a longer time because the team doesn't want to let them go. So it's like
Yeah, they did.
Messi, in Barcelona,
Oh
or
yeah,
those guys. Mm.
yeah. He was
But
with them for a minute. He was
yeah,
basically Barca. It was
but
sad to see him go.
everybody else just flies around all the time. That's I
Yeah,
don't get it. It's all about
yeah.
making money.
Some of these teams they're willing to pay whatever to get their team to the top. So they'll pay these
Yeah,
exorbitant transfer fees. But LAFC got Gareth Bale. They got Gareth Bale who's joined the squad. They're playing today, as a matter of fact. I'm gonna try and check it out. Hopefully he plays. That should be pretty exciting. But we'll see.
yeah,
We shall see. Rodolfo Rivera Jr. I'm honestly fine with the celebrity boxers, but I don't like it when they start saying they are better than actual pros. Yeah, there's certainly limitations there, but of course you
mm,
can find a pro or a group of pros who, of course, are at your level who aren't real legitimate guys. But of course, you can imagine one of these guys in there with like Artur Beterbiev or something like that. Even
you know,
with Beterbiev being at 175, if he at
yeah,
175 fought Jake Paul and Jake Paul came in at 190 or whatever, he would destroy Jake Paul. So
yeah,
certainly there are limitations. So some people might get a little too hyped at times, thinking it's the real deal. But yeah, even some of these smaller guys and some of these guys in the amateurs would beat these guys as well. Some people don't realize that, but even the guys in the amateurs are legitimate, and they're good and skilled and just different levels when you've been doing it for a long period of time. And
yeah,
but hey, I give them their props for actually seemingly taking the training and stuff serious. So you can say Jake Paul's getting better, you know.
yeah. Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, I think he is better than his brother for sure as a boxer,
Yeah,
and he has more of a killer instinct than Logan, especially. So he has won, all his fights so far. The
yeah.
one that was disputed against that guy. What was his name? Woodley or something.
Oh yeah, Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, then he
Yeah,
just kind of settled it in the rematch pretty
yeah,
brutally.
he
So
did.
yeah,
Clean clocked him.
yeah,
But yeah, that is yeah, you got to fight the right type of guys. But yeah, like Jake Paul, he would have to fight at cruiserweight where he's not a legitimate threat to the likes of, say, like a Marius Breedis. And Breedis, is getting up there in age, but he couldn't handle him like Uniel Dorticos. Say Jake Paul versus Dorticos. If he wants to test, his strength against a legitimate,
yeah.
cruiserweight. How do you think that would go? Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not asking that question literally, but you get what I'm
That would
saying.
be that would be pretty dangerous, I guess. Rory Cross is can punch, of
Yeah,
course, is a really
yeah.
good fighter. Even though he might be at the end of his prime and all that, or past
Hmm.
it, but still,
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, probably
he'll
so.
take
He
a
hasn't
lot.
fought it often.
Yeah, it would take a lot for Jake Paul to beat him. He'd probably have to have some help from the judges as well. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I think as long as they're fighting certain type of guys, then yeah, they can continue to do their thing in the sport. So we'll see where it goes from here. So his upcoming
yeah,
fight with Hakeem Rothman Jr. is a legitimate, I guess, step up fight to a guy who is operating as a boxer. I've seen Rothman Jr. in the past. Of course,
mm,
it's against a certain level of competition, but yeah, he's
yeah,
legit. He's legitimately competing in the sport. So this is a
yeah,
real boxer in that sense. So it should be interesting to see how it goes and how it's handled. And apparently, they have some type of history as far as sparring. At least that's what was Jake Paul was bringing up.
yeah,
Something to do with sparring. So we'll see what happens when they're actually in there in the ring together and see how that goes. But this is a legitimate boxer right here.
yeah. He's the son of a pretty big name. Yeah, so also he's
Yeah.
got a lot of to defend to prove. You might say. So that's a pretty big fight for both guys anyway. I mean, they have quite a lot to lose, both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, certainly. So yeah, I think we're gonna get a legit fight out of it.
Mm.
And we'll see where it goes from there. Hopefully, get that Tommy Fury fight. I certainly viewed that Tommy
Oh,
Fury fight is a 50-50 fight right there because Tommy Fury, I think that Jake Paul, I would have favored Jake Paul over Tommy Fury. So it sucks that we
yeah,
didn't
me
get that
too.
fight.
That
You know
has
what I'm
really
saying?
evolved into a soap, soap opera
I
now.
know we're gonna get some kind of reality TV show out of it. Like, okay, yeah, the
It's,
fight that never happened, right?
yeah, it seems like Tommy is like, one of them. Oh, come on, make that fight, and then like the next day he's like, oh, what did I do? I don't want to fight him. I'm gonna get beaten. Then he
Yeah,
just
it's just like
withdraws.
every obstacle is just getting in the way of that matchup right there.
Yeah,
One of boxing's biggest fights. We can't make it happen.
yeah, and
Typical,
he
right?
knows if he loses, then his brother will change his last name. That's what Tyson said. If he loses to Jake Paul, he will not be called
Yeah,
Fury anymore. So that
yeah,
would
that
be
would
like
be that would
a
be
big
funny. That
blow.
would be
Yeah, a big blow to their
yeah.
honor. Like bare knuckle
Bloop.
gypsy fighter. Yeah,
Mhm. That is funny. So yeah, that makes it interesting right there. So maybe we get that
yeah,
next time around or something. If Jake wants to take his talents international, probably be more ideal, I guess, getting it made at this point. But we
yeah.
shall see. Um, Yeah, man. Yeah, we got into a lot of discussion here today. A lot of Jake Paul talk, a lot of soccer talk.
Just imagine them if those two had like a hosted like a reality TV program together, like
Oh wow.
somewhere, in a hotel on an island, like tropical island, and then they get into
Oh yeah.
fights like over girls and stuff. That would be
That would
really
be funny.
hilarious.
No,
Yeah.
I think that would be good in that the UFC does this little
What's
when
up,
they do this
bro?
little
Yeah.
tough enough or tough the UFC little tough where these people are competing to get a UFC contract or whatever, but they'll have like a legitimate two legitimate fighters who are already on the UFC roster hosting and sometimes they have bad blood. That would be a good one to see Jake Paul and Tommy Fury hosting one of those type
Yeah.
events or whatever.
Mm.
You have a lot of testosterone out there. Just see how those two would handle just being there in front of each other, talking that mess.
Yeah. All I know it's really turned into a farce, and they just need to either decide if they're gonna fight. Then fight. That's all. So if you don't want to do it, any of them, then don't. Of course,
I
just
guess
admit
it's up in the
you're
air at this point.
yeah, Tommy, and that's Tony, obviously the one who isn't too keen on fighting.
Yeah.
Paul. So you gotta admit
Yeah.
you're a chicken. All right, I chicken out, so I don't want to fight him. But
Yeah,
instead,
Tommy.
you try to make it sound as if the other guy is to blame. Jake doesn't want to fight you. Well, why not? Why wouldn't he? Like, who have you really beaten, Tommy? Come on.
That is funny. You hear that,
Yeah,
Tommy? Get your shit together.
yeah, exactly. It's probably not gonna watch this, but anyway, who knows?
Don't duck
They,
us. Don't duck us.
yeah,
We're giving you legitimate facts. Come on, man.
his brother, he is like Tyson is very like he gets around. So I heard from this podcast, these two guys from Serbia, they got a like on one of their pictures from him on Instagram. So
Oh yeah.
that was really huge for them, of course. Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah. Cool. Cool. That's good stuff
yeah.
then.
Mm.
That's good stuff. But yeah,
Big bossa,
interesting.
you big
Interesting.
bossa.
Interesting. I will say. I guess. On the boxing tip, the card. That card also featured a couple of other fights. Lamont Roach Jr., who's out of this
Oh
area, he
yeah,
won a decision over this guy Rodriguez out of Colombia or Venezuela, one of the
big
two. I
guy.
think a mix of both. And
Yeah, he's the one who lost to Jamel Herring before, right? Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
believe
yeah,
so.
he did. He dropped Jamel in like the 10th or 11th round or something like that, but couldn't seal the deal.
Roach.
Yeah, so Lamont Roach, he got a win, so he's back in the mix. He could be fighting for a WBA super featherweight title. There are apparently two guys who are fighting for here coming up, at least in some kind of title defense, or I don't know if it's a vacant fight or whatever. I forget the names, but he could be in that. There was Alex Rocha. I think his name's Alex Rocha, but he looks
Yeah,
pretty solid. He took on this guy Vernon out of Nicaragua or something. But
burning.
Rocha, yeah, he
Not
stopped
burning.
Blair Cobbs. Hey, do you like Blair the Flair Cobbs? You know him? Remember him?
Yeah, I heard of him. I don't know. Maybe I don't
That's
know
who
if I've
Rocha beat in
seen
his last fight. Rocha, he stopped him in his last fight. He took the Flair out of
Blair the
Blair.
Flair. Blair
Yeah,
the
so
Flair. Yeah, not
but Rocha,
scared.
he looks pretty solid. He looks pretty solid. I think he lost to
Roach.
Rashidi Ellis. I think that's who they were saying.
Alex,
But
or maybe
outside of
it
that, he
is.
looks pretty good.
Is it Alex or Alexis? Maybe even.
Oh yeah, it might be that.
I was gonna say, yeah, it is Alexis.
Yeah, Alexis. Yeah, so not Alex,
Lex,
but yeah.
called Lex. Yeah, that's right.
So
25.
his only
Yeah,
loss as far as the Rashidi Ellis, and Rashidi Ellis,
yeah.
was a very solid boxer, very slick and
Rashidi.
tricky.
What happened
So
to him? Nothing.
so Rashidi is just a matter of getting, some,
Just like
top name fighters. You know what I'm saying?
I sounded like De Niro now. What happened to him? What happened? What happened to my son?
Yeah, but Rashidi Ellis, yeah, he looks good. Just a matter of getting one of those top fighters or getting the belt, getting a
Yeah,
shot at the title or something like that. We'll see if that
he's
actually
like,
happens.
hmm. Yeah,
But
I
he's
see.
pretty solid.
He's got a few names that are not that crap anyway that he's beaten. Hmm.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just
He can take out. He'll be tough to defeat. As just I think you got to bring like some power to the table. Someone like a Benavidez, of course, but they're fighting at welterweight. So someone for Rashidi
yeah,
Ellis, in terms of who would be tough for him, would be like Virgil Ortiz. If we're talking welterweight, Virgil Ortiz would be tough for him. Of course,
very
Jerron
true.
Ennis, maybe Emmanuel Stanionis would be even tough for him
Oh
too.
yeah,
Those would be a tough matchup. But he's good.
a
He can box.
montas, a
Yeah.
montas. Doesn't matter really. Yeah, it's. I know those names are very difficult.
What is it?
Lithuanian. A montas Stanionis.
Imantas.
Yeah.
Imantas Stanionis,
Mm.
right? I want to see him back in the
Very
mix.
good.
He called out.
Eh,
He called out Conor Ben.
oh, right. Conor
He thinks
Ben.
Eddie is stuck in him.
They have apparently made a fight with Conor Ben and Chris Eubank Jr. That's kind of ridiculous. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
yeah, it seems to be a done
At
deal
what
now.
weight?
I don't know really. Maybe middleweight or something like that.
Oh
But I
yeah.
thought that was funny because Conor is a welterweight, and well, they
Yeah.
haven't really, I maybe not signed everything yet, but I heard about it anyway. I've
So
seen
they're
it.
trying to make a fight between those two.
Yeah, it's like the legacy, next
Oh
generation
wow.
thing.
Yeah, I see this. I see some chatter here about it. It says Nigel Benn breaks silence on his son's upcoming fight with Chris Eubank Jr. as he insists
Oh
going up
yeah.
in weight won't ruin Conor. Ah, interesting. Yeah, it doesn't seem to make sense, but I guess it would make sense from a financial sense, I guess. But yeah, it definitely doesn't make sense as far as Conor Ben's
No.
welterweight
Yeah,
goes in
require
pursuit.
him jump up at least two weight divisions, and he's still relatively untested or unexperienced. So
Yeah, that's pretty
yeah,
crazy because I know Eubank Jr. He was last. I remember him. He was at one point fighting at 168, right? Or
yeah, 168. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if he can make. Maybe he can make 160, but not nothing below that. Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They seem to be reporting on this. That's pretty crazy. I didn't hear about that, but that
Yeah.
is pretty insane
It's a money
and
maker. Just yeah.
unexpected
Money.
for sure. But yeah, so that'll be interesting. Then I don't know. I just feel like
I knew.
size would
I
come
knew.
to
Knew
fold,
they
but
would
maybe.
make this fight sooner or later. That's how it goes. If you had like if Frank Bruno had like a son and Lennox Lewis had a son who both boxed, they would probably have made them fight each other. Doesn't matter if any of them were any good or if one was a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
better than the other. Yeah,
That's pretty funny. So
it's the
yeah, I guess
show.
I'll. Yeah, I don't even know who I would pick in that fight. Well, I feel like I don't know that I could pick Conor Ben. I haven't
Yeah,
seen him at that weight, but it just seems like it. Just seems like a very big reach right there. But hey, we'll see if they make it happen. And heck, I'll check it out at least. I'll
yeah. In the UK,
check
that's
it
what
out.
they do, to bring up a buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty funny though. But yeah, I'll certainly check it out. So we'll see what happens there. Um, but yeah, uh, I didn't get to catch. There was another card. I know Heffron. I think his name is Zach. What is his name? Something Heffron. Is it Zach Heffron?
Ronnie,
I could be mixing Zach Heffron.
Ronnie, I
I've seen
think.
him before, but he beat
Yeah.
this guy Clark or something of that nature. It was a
There were
British
not
Commonwealth
so
fight.
many, yeah, not so many big fights, but some maybe were
I was trying to catch that card. It was BT
interesting.
Sports One or something like that, but I couldn't catch it. I was
Oh
looking for a
yeah,
stream.
Hamza
It's always tough
Shiraz.
catching
Yeah, this guy
them.
Hamza Shiraz, he won last night. I heard, I didn't see it, but he seems to be like the new promising British.
Okay.
I think he's a middleweight. Yeah, that's right. So he's 16 and
Mm.
old, very tall, 6'3". Wow, for a middleweight.
Okay, I think yeah, that's the card I was trying to catch. And Mark Heffron is who I thinking of. Mark Heffron, he
Oh,
got a
Mark.
win. But yeah, I like
Oh yeah,
Heffron. I've
Mark.
seen him
Mark.
a few times. He beat Lennox Clark, who I don't recall if I've seen him or not. But I'm gonna try and catch this. And they also had the guy Nick Ball fighting. Nick Ball knocked off who
So
was
it
it?
was.
Isaac Lowe. And so Nick Ball he had beat Isaac Lowe, who is this fighter out of the
Yeah,
UK
I heard.
who like with
I've heard of.
Tyson Fury. I know there. Yeah, I know Tyson Fury has some connection to him.
Yeah, yeah, he's the guy with that big beard, right? Funny, very
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
looking. Yeah, I've seen him fight once last year, I think, or maybe earlier this year. He's not that
yeah.
big, really.
Yeah, we were talking about it. I remember us talking about it. It was back in April, and he lost to this guy Nick Ball,
Oh yeah,
who they were
right,
expecting
right.
him to beat. Of course, a little short but very aggressive fighter, Nick
Oh
Ball. But
god,
it
this
looks like he fought and got another victory, 12th round
he
TKO at
looks
that.
scary. He looks scary on he on the box track. His picture is really like wow. He looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a leprechaun or something.
He's 5'5", but he's solidly built, so he seems to be pretty
5'7"
strong.
says here. Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
five
He
seven.
was he was pretty tough. I seem to recall him taking a lot of shots, in that fight and just going
Mm.
forward and stuff. Really like typical traveler fashion fighter, to go that way,
Mm.
because they are
Cool,
not
cool.
really gypsies. They are like Irish travelers. Yeah, that's
Oh yeah, the Travelers.
yeah.
Oh yeah, so cool. Oh yeah, also I didn't mention, but Arnold Barboza beat this guy Danny Lecto Zorilla. I watched the fight. It was pretty good. It's pretty solid, good fight. They had some back and forth at times or whatever. I like Arnold
Barboza.
Barboza. He's at 140 pounds. He beat
But that
Alex
was
Salcedo and a couple of other
yeah,
decent guys there. I think he's
Mike
legitimate.
Colorado. Yeah,
Oh yeah, remember when Mike was doing his thing? You know what I'm saying?
he kind of ended his career. It seems
Yeah,
knocked him off badly. Well,
yeah.
I never really cared much for Colorado, to be honest.
He had a few exciting fights,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah, he took too much punishment. Of course, he was
yeah,
going to eventually catch
against
up.
Brandon Rios and Marquez
Yeah,
and that was
they made for an exciting matchup. The two of them,
Pro
of course.
Provodnikov, right? Yeah. Also, he beat him by a corner.
Ruslan Provodnikov, the Siberian Rocky. I like him. I went and
Yeah,
saw him. Went and saw him in Lucas
Bradley.
Matisse
Oh yeah,
when they fought. It was in New York back in 2015, I believe.
oh
That was
yeah,
like probably the first like big fight I went to. It had a lot of hype surrounding it or whatever. Um,
mm.
I enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
he was like for a while very yeah he was like the David Tua of those divisions, I guess, or something.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, for Botnica. I had heard some talk over, like it might have been a couple of years ago, that it was seemingly, oh, could he be making a comeback or whatever, but it never happened. So, which is probably good.
mm.
But he
Yeah,
he was an exciting fighter for sure.
yeah. I thought that loss to Chris Algieri was just BS.
Hmm.
Algieri was never really that's all he had, his entire career. That very very like controversial victory. So he lost to
Oh yeah,
Pacquiao, to Khan, to Spence. Yeah.
Chris Algieri. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Chris came back to fight Conor Bean last year.
He was like, "Yeah, I'm the big, the next big thing." Like, I remember he was very like boasting and stuff, and like how good technically he is and stuff like.
Yeah, of course, lose to all the top guys, of course,
Yeah,
badly in some
probably
cases.
cruel. Yeah, the worst
But
thing with yeah,
that's interesting. I'd say
yeah,
that. I missed it. I need to check the replay, but I know we had talked about it last time around. But Kazuto Ioka, he fought Donny Nietes. Apparently, Nietes lost.
yeah.
It was a
For the first
decision
time in like yeah,
in a
well, how
long
many
time, right?
18 years I believe or something. Wow. Yeah, only his second loss, so I guess he will retire now. Maybe he should. I don't know really
I
why
was
he's
chatting
still.
with Rick. Remember Rick? What is his last name? Rick Gagney or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Remember
yeah, Rick
on Facebook? I was chatting
Gagne,
with
yeah,
him. I mean, the chat with him on Words with Friends, the little app.
yeah.
It's like a
All
little
right,
app where you
he's a
play these
nice
little
guy.
word
Yeah,
crossword games. Usually chatting with him on there, but I guess he's seen it. He said that Nietes didn't look too bad given his age or whatever. But
yeah, he's like 41, 42. I don't know, something like that,
yeah, he's
or
40
43
going
even.
on 40 going on 41. I
Oh
guess
yeah,
this kind of
right.
takes him out of the mix there, since that was a
He's not.
WBO World Super Flyweight title shot. So I guess he had that WBO Super Flyweight title.
Yeah, he did. He
So
won it
yeah.
last year, I think,
Oh
or
yeah, he had
no.
fought Ioka back in
Yeah,
2018. Matter of fact. He's had it for a minute actually,
yeah.
or at
He
least
was
since
he was very. I mean, he was inactive for like almost 3 years, two
oh,
and
he
a
got
half.
it in 2018. Okay, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. You're right. From 2018 to 2021, he hadn't fought. Or
but at
well,
the end of
he had it.
2018, yeah, December, yeah,
Yeah.
December
So
31st,
interesting.
actually.
I need to
Yeah,
check him out because I hadn't seen that fight, but it'll be interesting to see how it went. Nietes, he's a name that Hey,
yeah.
we'll see. We'll see if we see him again in there with any other guys, any young guys or something.
He's no joke, of course.
Yep. Facebook user Kazuto Ioka versus Roman Gonzalez is a good fight. Yeah, that should be interesting right there. That would be interesting. I've heard Chocolatito's name being thrown out there as a potential. Well, at least they were just mentioning it. At least when Bam Rodriguez fought, the potential of
Man,
that happening, or maybe Bam Rodriguez versus Juan Francisco Estrada. But yeah, Ioka Gonzalez. Yeah, I think Chocolatito still looks good. From what I've seen, he seemed to have bounced back from those losses to Sarung Visai. I thought he beat
yeah,
Estrada when they fought last time around, even though he didn't get the nod. I felt he did enough to get the win right there. Even though it was close, of course, it was close. You can say it was close and all that stuff. I just felt like Chocolatito did more in that fight and probably deserved that nod. But hey, if it makes for them fighting again, then of course the fans win in that sense because they seem to stylistically match up pretty well. So maybe we get that. But yeah, a lot of angles out there that you can go in and around
yeah.
those weights. But I was definitely impressed with Bam Rodriguez and the way he handled Sarungisai, who isn't, of course, like a fast fighter, but I thought the strength would come into play. But hey, Bam didn't give him an opportunity at all to do anything. It's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's like that he simply isn't as good as he used to be. So Rugis, I don't know, or maybe it was the wrong style for him. Simply
Yeah,
stylistic.
yeah, maybe. So I
Yeah,
have to look up. I'm gonna look up one Estrada
he's kind
because
of
I'm
getting
trying to
on
see.
35, getting on in age now. Yeah,
Yeah, certainly, certainly. So let me see. So is any? I'm trying to see if anything is in the lineup. So oh yeah, Chocolatito. He did take out Julio Cesar Martinez, who I think was coming up or something like that. I like Julio Cesar Martinez. He doesn't throw any jabs, but he's exciting.
he
He'll
took
just wing
out
those shots.
most guys at flyweight anyway. Yeah,
Yeah. So Estrada, so nothing's on the books for Estrada. Wow, so it's been over a year now. So he hasn't fought since he fought Chocolatito in that rematch back in March of 2021. So I don't know what's the
yeah,
deal.
Estrada. Yeah, I don't know really.
And he
He
only
has
had one
been,
fight in 2020, so
yeah, he has been one of the best, at that weight for quite some time now, and
yeah, I
ever
wonder what's the
since,
deal. Because
yeah,
that's a good bit of inactivity for him at least while he was, kind of
mm,
finally getting his time to shine,
yeah.
in a legitimate fashion at least.
I don't know, really. It might be several things.
Facebook user, a really
Maybe.
good fighter at flyweight who go on to do well is Junto Nakatani. Nakatani, yeah, that name is familiar. That name is very much
Yeah,
familiar.
he
Junto
is. Yeah,
Nakatani.
I
Let me
think
see.
he
I
is
know I've
still.
heard that name for sure. Okay.
I
Oh,
think
he fought Yamuchi. I know Angel Acosta, who he's beat. Oh, cool. He beat Angel Acosta. Knocked him out, actually.
Hmm.
I wonder did I see that. I can't remember, though. I have
Should,
to check that out. But cool, yeah. Hey, yeah, he seems to be legit for sure. For sure.
yeah,
Nakatani. So he has
yeah.
the WBO World Flyweight title.
There are several promising Japanese fighters right now. As you
Oh
know,
yeah.
of
Yeah.
course. Yeah,
I saw this
there.
minimum weight fighter recently. I forget. I believe he was
Yeah.
fighting at minimum weight. He was pretty solid. I can't remember his name,
Hmm.
but he's one of the
Maybe.
titleists down there,
Well, I don't really watch that so much, but anyway,
or
yeah,
he might be right above minimum weight.
yeah, all right, flyweight.
What is
I
that? I'm
thought
gonna see
that
if I can
was,
find his name.
I thought that really sounds the most. It's the funniest name for a division, like light flyweight. Like flyweight, what can be lighter than a fly? And you got light
Oh, okay.
flyweight.
So I guess his minimum weight is lighter than flyweight.
Yeah, it's
That's
some
interesting,
call it
right?
straw weight, I believe, right? Yeah, or they did anyway.
Yeah. So now I'm trying to find like who the heck is that guy I'm thinking about.
Hmm.
Martinez is hella fun to watch. All action, Rodolfo Rivera Jr. Indeed. That guy, he just he goes out there, throws punches. He said, "Forget a jab, forget any of that. I'm just gonna fight you." And man,
Yeah.
yeah, he definitely makes for exciting fights. Thought Chocolatito handled him. That was just a Chocolatito has a bad style matchup for him, but yeah, he's definitely fun to watch. Julio
Hmm.
Cesar Martinez. There, Slavin. If I'm sure you've probably seen him,
I
because
think
he's a
so.
really good
Yeah,
fighter.
I haven't
Is it
really.
knockout CP Freshmart? Yeah, not CP Freshmart. I do know Freshmart. Freshmart is legit though. He's cool. I had looked him up several years back because I was like, some of those Thai fighters always have interesting names, and I was like, who is this guy? Freshmart makes me think I'm going to a mart somewhere, a market
It's,
or whatever.
It's
but he's
because
legit.
their real names are so hard to pronounce for us others. I guess that's why they adopt those names like Knockout,
Oh, yeah.
CP,
I like calling
and
it Rodolfo Rivera. I like calling it strawweight. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, some of them.
me
Yeah, they
too.
do get the name.
Sounds better than minimum weight, but these guys are
If
so
that's who you're
boring.
talking about, he's been champion for years. So yeah, that's not who I'm talking about. I'm gonna see if I can figure out who this guy is. He recently fought. Man, there was two very small fighters. I don't think he was super fly. I feel like he was minimum weight. I can't think of who the heck he fought.
Where is he
I'm
from?
gonna tell you. I thought he was from Japan. He fought this guy. I can't think of the guy's last name. Might have been Bermudez, or
I
could be
can't
wrong
think
in
of.
that.
I don't know if there aren't so many fighters. I mean,
Yeah, no,
from,
yeah, no.
from
I'm
Japan,
gonna find out who this guy is. Was he at
they
flyweight?
mostly, yeah, they mostly fight at flyweight and above. I believe the Japanese.
This guy, he's like exciting. He was exciting. He throws a lot of punches too, and they were bringing it. I'm gonna
So
figure out who it is for sure.
minimum or straw weight has always been like full of these Thai
Maybe
fighters. Thai
Kayaguchi. I think it's Kayaguchi. Yeah, yeah. I think you're right there, Rodolfo.
Hiroto.
Because he fought like Bermudez or something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well
That's
done.
who it is. Then maybe it wasn't Bermudez or oh yeah, it was.
Thank.
Yeah, Esteban Bermudez. So yes, Kayaguchi. Yeah, that guy right there. He was exciting. So he fights at 108. Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Hiroto Kayaguchi. I was like, man, I just saw him fight, but yeah, that dude, man, he brings it.
Wow.
So
he looks
Japan has
like
a lot of
a
little
little
kid, right?
child. Yeah, he looks like a little
Yeah,
boy.
yeah, it's
And he's
crazy. It's crazy.
28. Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
no,
he
that is
looks like
crazy.
he's 7 or 8 years old. Like, come on.
Big shout out to Rodolfo. Rodolfo, did you enjoy the light heavyweight
Rodolfo.
chat we did? Oh yeah, so Facebook you. So this the boxing library, and if it is, I think it is the boxing library. Shout out boxing library, and appreciate you joining in. You know, it's always cool to check us out. We appreciate it. I need to go to Facebook. It just says, sometimes it just says Facebook user on here. But cool. Appreciate it, buddy. But yeah, that's good stuff. Oh yeah, shout out. I did mention that light heavyweight countdown. Of course, all that stuff is always tough counting down to the 10 greatest in any division or whatever. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough sledding right there. But that is definitely some good stuff. I saw some names I expected on there, some good stuff. I need to finish the entirety of it. But yeah, that's some legit stuff. They also have the middleweight countdown as well as the welterweight countdown. All of those are tough because, man, we know we've had so many greats over the years.
I gotta mention that time when we scored, we were at that, how is it called, fight score. We were scoring that Jeff Horn versus Manny Pacquiao fight. That was very fun.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
I
yeah,
was
yeah, that
like,
is right. Shout out to
yeah, I
Fight
was
Night
like
Scores.
trying to, like lecturing everybody how to score. Oh, you can't score. I'm sorry to say that. But yeah, that
Shout
was
out to
just
Fight Night Scores. So we went back last week. We were rewatched Pacquiao versus Horn and rescored
yeah.
it as a part of using their website. It's fight-score.com. They have a
And I
good
thought it
platform for
was,
scoring
and I
fights.
thought it was fair that Horn won, but Joshua didn't agree,
No, you
right?
were wrong. You were wrong.
Come on,
Clive
man.
in here didn't want to give Manny Pacquiao any credit at all, and had Jeff
No,
Horn, who
he
was
was
gashing
very.
up Pacquiao's head by headbutting him and getting him cuts on the top of his head and
No,
all
no,
that stuff.
no.
Like, how was Pacquiao supposed to handle that? You got cuts in his scalp, and he come on.
No, that's just excuses. Come on. He just didn't do enough. He thought he could just, knock out Horn and with
That
one
was
punch
funny.
or something. No, it
But
doesn't work.
hey, that's one of those fights you have differences. I thought Pacquiao did enough. Some thought Horn, who was the aggressor, even though he's very reckless as an aggressor, but he was the
Yeah,
aggressor.
that's you gotta
And
be to be.
it's
I mean,
interesting.
when you are not a boxer, he is not a technical boxer, so he had to fight like that to win. Of course, no other way to fight a guy like Manny.
Indeed, indeed. That's an interesting fight to go back and look at.
Yeah.
Rodolfo Virginia, how's it going? BL, yeah, the discussion was made. Can't wait for the lightweight live. Wow, wow, lightweight. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one right there. There's so many varying opinions on lightweight. You have some who think that Roberto Duran is the greatest lightweight of all time. You have some who throw out some others like Benny Leonard, Joe Gans, etc. There are a
Yeah,
number of other ones out there. So yeah, that should be very interesting right there. Anytime you do these,
mm,
you're gonna have some who object for sure to the
mm,
standing. Uh, Big shout out and hello to your guests. Shout out to you right there, Slavin, uh, for doing the thing. Slavin from
thank
Boxing
you.
Haven. Boxing
Hello
Haven
to
on
you.
Facebook. We're in there in the mix at times, having some
Mm,
discussions and all that good stuff. Uh,
yeah, trying to keep
BL says,
the activity level from dropping completely.
yeah. Boxing librarian. I was shocked by Ryan Garcia saying titles don't matter. It's only money. Then a big letdown he is becoming. Yeah, he did say that. He's moving up to 140. He doesn't care about trying to get those titles at 135. So yeah, that's one of those things. I would say I hope that
Right.
he fights the best. If he fights the best, then I think that's gonna be a plus. But certainly when you think about the legacy standpoint, getting those titles can add to the mix. But for instance, if he said he wants to fight Teofimo Lopez. Hey, I'm all for that at 140 pounds. Neither of them have a title, but that should be a very interesting fight, assuming
Yeah.
it happens, of course. I think Tio is fighting here in August, and
And
it should, I
when
believe
you
it's
hold
August.
a title, when you hold a title, it can also like tie you down and prevent you from fighting all the guys that you want to fight because you got these ridiculous mandatories, all that stuff. It can be very frustrating, like, and in some countries they don't maybe recognize all the titles and all the sanctioning bodies. I know Japan only recently did they start to recognize WBO and IBF actually as a legal
Mm.
as a legal organizations. That's
Oh
pretty
wow,
crazy.
very interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely a lot of particulars surrounding it. So yeah,
yes,
it'll definitely be interesting. We'll see. Of course, if Garcia is about making the best fights, then yeah, he's gonna eventually have to take on some of those titleists. So we'll see if he actually does that with him now
mm,
campaigning at 140 pounds. 140 pounds, which he looks like he'll definitely look pretty good there for sure. Rodolfo Rivera Jr. Yeah, the weird thing about Ryan is that a couple of months ago he was saying I want all the
yeah.
belts, but now he's saying he's about the money. Very weird. Yeah, he has to
That's
certainly
Ryan.
make his
That's
mind
Ryan.
up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
certainly
he.
has to make his mind up.
Yeah, and then he said he want to retire at 26. We'll see if he
Oh
really
yeah,
does
he
that.
did say that. I think
I
yeah, that's
doubt.
ridiculous.
No, I don't think so. I think he will at least fight 2 years more, if not four. Very, very
Yeah,
likely until the
no,
30.
he's that's ridiculous talk right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
come
he's
on,
just throwing some stuff out
you
there.
can't do all that at 20. Fight everybody until you are 26. Yeah, that just is not
Hold
possible.
up, you start smelling yourself there, Ryan. Thinking by 26 cemented your legacy now. No,
Yeah,
I think he was
but
just talking junk right there.
yeah,
But we'll see. A lot of those guys who always claim they're gonna retire early never do.
yeah, that's right. They always get lured back by.
Well, Tyson Fury has a chance to actually
Yeah,
make it a real deal thing. We'll see if he's gonna come back, which I feel like he is. but we'll
He
see.
should, because he can't wait too long. Because then he's already in an advanced stage. He's already gonna be 34 in a month. So it's like the
Yeah,
end of the prime soon. Usually it is.
and he's now getting his biggest paydays, and he can get an even bigger payday if he
Yeah,
does these Anthony Joshua or Usyk fight. But certainly, if Anthony Joshua were to go out there and say knock out Usyk, and then it's Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury in the O2 or Wembley Stadium or something, that would be mega. But also
yeah,
that potential crossover fight with Francis Ngannou, I can see Tyson Fury wanting to do something like that. I mean, we can't
yeah.
say that he doesn't love the attention, so that he would get a lot of attention if he were to do
It's
that fight
just
with Ngannou.
Yeah, it's just that he can get injured, but he's a very strong. I mean, he's a huge guy. Obviously, it's not very easy to really injure him badly. But who knows?
Yeah,
I
and,
hope.
and if it's a boxing match, then of course, yeah, he's gonna give Ngannou the business. So
Yeah,
why wouldn't he take that chance at a major payday against a UFC guy who, while
indeed.
he can punch more so as one of those UFC fighters, but he can't outbox Fury. So that's
Yeah.
a big chance at a payday right there.
I mean, one thing is for sure, we will see him back in some kind of a ring. He just doesn't, not
Oh
sure
yeah,
what kind. Even if
yeah,
it's the cage, then it's all right. It's better than not seeing him anymore at all. At all. Yeah,
yeah, certainly, yeah. He's not done. Rodolfo Rivera Jr. know he's going to retire young. It's going to be very hard to walk away from that fame he has. Yeah, I think you're referencing Ryan Garcia, but yeah, I agree. I think Ryan just throwing a whole bunch of stuff out there. But we'll see
Ryan
if he
trying to make
actually
himself
retires.
trying to make himself more interesting. I guess.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Get some buzz around there. Boxers are always retiring,
Yeah.
right? Sort of like music
Mm.
artists. Music artists, okay, I'm done. I'm not recording anymore.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm retired. They have that in common.
Yeah, every time they get fed up, it's like, oh no, I'm never gonna do this anymore. But then they find out, oh no, just doesn't go away. It doesn't go that way. So it's in me. It's bigger than me. I have to do it. It's what I'm born to do. So why not? Yeah, make money on it. Yeah,
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, so yeah, we talked through. I guess all the Garcia fight was a big fight, but yeah, some of the other ones kind of slid under the radar. That being
yeah.
said, there was a lot of stuff.
Just
I need to go back and check out some of these fights actually. But I guess we
right.
have coming up. We do have, I guess, some big fights. Joet Gonzalez against Isaac Dogbe, which should be a somewhat exciting fight for as long as
Yeah,
it lasts. Uh,
Joet. Yeah, that's right. He beat
CBS.
yeah, he beat Mariaga. That's right. Not so long ago. I know
Yeah,
he
he
did.
lost to Navarrete and Shakir Stevenson.
Yeah,
So hey, two top tier losses right there. I mean,
yeah.
can't hold those against him too much. It's going to be tough for a lot of
Mm.
people to beat the two of them. So we'll see how he looks in here with Doug Bay, who I like Doug Bay, but Doug Bay's been in some pretty tough fights, and I don't know. I think Gonzalez, being the longer, somewhat fresher fighter, might pull it off. Though I
Mm.
really like Doug Bay's style from an excitement perspective. So yeah, it should be
Dog
interesting.
Bay. It's like the way you calling. It's like Dog Bay, Bay of Dogs.
Nejo. That's what he say. He's training out here in DC with the Headbangers Gym. So they've kind of helped get him back on the right path. We also have
Mm.
CBS Chris Billum Smith cruiserweight taking on
That's
Isaac
one.
Chamberlain, the UK fight right there. That might be a pretty good fight. I
But
think it
that's
should
on.
be a pretty good fight.
Yeah, that's on the 30th, not next week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the 30th.
yeah,
Also,
yeah.
Adam
That's
Kanowski
like
is going to make his return on the 30th.
That's one of the biggest British fights of this month, anyway.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, indeed. Also on the 30th, Gary Antoine Russell against Francis Barthélemy, former
yep.
title holder. I like Gary Antoine Russell, and I think he's gonna give Francis that work. It'll be interesting if he can stop Francis. I don't think anyone's ever stopped him.
Another
Uh,
Gary
that'll be
A.
interesting.
Russell. He's a lot bigger than his brother, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So Rance has only lost to Kira Relic. You
Yeah,
remember
really.
him, right? So
Yeah,
it should be interesting. I like
Belarus.
Gary Antoine.
Belarus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Belarus. Yeah, he was in the World Boxing Super Series. Um, but yeah,
yeah,
so it should be interesting. I think he can make a statement, Gary Anton Russell, that is, if he can do it. Well, if he beats him in general, but certainly if he were able to stop him. And thus far, he seems to have that sort of mindset about him. He'll go for the kill when the opportunity comes. And your favorite future or favorite former prospect, Josh Kelly, is going to be returning to action on the 30th.
Josh Kelly. I don't know if he's my favorite.
I was just joking. That was a joke.
All
No, but
right,
I
I'm
no, I
like,
remember he was
who is he? Like, oh yeah,
no, I
right.
was just joking. But he was highly
He was.
touted as a prospect. Move, but he moved up, ran into a few roadblocks. I was wondering when he was going to get back in the mix. I was thinking to
Hmm,
myself that would be a good fight for Connor being right there. But maybe they need to
hmm.
get Josh Kelly's confidence up. Oh, he's
Yeah,
at super welter, so he's fighting at super welter.
hmm.
He's going to be taking on this one guy who's 18-1, so it should be interesting.
A guy with four names, so you better not mention. Don't bother saying his name. He's got four
So
names.
he's out of Argentina. Tina, you never
Yeah,
know with these Argentine guys,
they all
and
have
he
too
all of his
many
fights
names.
taking place in Argentina.
Yeah,
Hey, so we could get Marcos Maidana, or we could get someone who is going to be stopped
my
in the first
God.
round. You never know, I guess.
Yeah,
But
those
Josh freaking Kelly, making that return.
are.
So interesting. But yeah, we
Yeah,
have a few pretty solid fights coming up.
yeah.
Some other ones later in the year as well. Oh, Oscar Rojas
Hmm.
is even going to be making a return. The Bridgerweight King.
Oscar Rivas. Hang on. Who is Oscar Rivas?
But that'll be later in the year.
Right.
So yeah, good stuff
Yeah.
though, Slavin. We've been at it for an hour and
Yeah.
32 minutes.
Thought we're
That's
gonna
not
make
very
this
long.
short and sweet. You
I
said
know.
this is
I know.
not
We
been
had to
very
clear the
short.
air. We had to clear the air on some of the soccer bids and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
kind of got a little
It's
carried
been
away.
sweet anyway. Yeah. Sweet enough.
We did get a little bit carried away here, but of course, it was always great having these discussions and all that good stuff. So,
Yeah, of
um,
course.
thank you all for those that were in attendance. Rodolfo Rivera Jr. Appreciate it. Check it out. Check him out. The Boxing
You're the best.
Librarian. Be sure to check him out.
Thanks,
We also
Rodolfo,
had
for being
Hat
with
Trick
us
up in
all
this
the way.
thing. Check
Patrick.
out Hat Trick, everyone.
Oh, hat trick.
YouTube Hat Trick.
Patrick
Shout out
hat
Hat
trick.
Trick.
All right.
Shout
Yeah,
out Random
Mr.
Acoustic Thoughts.
Kieran. Hello,
Oh yeah,
Kieran.
Mr. Sierra and Hat Trick. Check him out. About to get some soccer stuff up here. And then my
Yeah,
mom, of course, thanks for dropping in.
Joshua's mom. Greetings, Joshua's mom.
Great love. He said, catch you on the next one. Catch you on the next one, Rodolfo. Indeed. We're gonna get back in the mix again. So we'll
And
see
I'm
what's
gonna try
what's up
to
for next.
get me that purple hoodie
Oh
somewhere.
We're gonna get a purple hoodie jumping off here at some point.
You
Boxing
got
Haven.
you got the connections. You can get it made like with Boxing Haven.
I'll see what I can do. I'll certainly see what I can do for sure.
Ooh,
We'll
man.
make it
Yeah,
happen for sure.
I'm counting
But
on you.
yeah. We'll be on the lookout, everyone. Purple hoodies coming soon. Coming soon.
coming to life soon.
Cool, good stuff. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you're watching a replay, we appreciate it. All that good stuff. And we'll catch you on the next one. Indeed. Have a good one.
Have a good